You know, it's funny. We're surrounded by all this tech, and it's easy to forget that something like a really durable waterproof watch wasn't always just there.
Absolutely. And their origins, well, they often come from some pretty demanding situations, right? Military needs, basically.
Exactly. Which is a perfect lead-in to our deep dive today. We're looking at the newest version of the Hamilton Khaki Navy Frogman.
A classic name in dive watches.
Right. And for you listening, if you like getting a really solid grasp of something specific quickly, without it being overwhelming, this is for you. We're going to trace its history and see what this new one is all about.
Yeah, our mission, let's say, is to really unpack the evolution of this dive watch, especially this new black PVD version. What makes it significant?
Okay, let's jump in. Hamilton, people might know them as Swiss now, but they started out American.
Firmly American roots. And they were involved pretty early on with making waterproof watches, specifically for the U.S. Navy.
Way back, right? Like World War II era.
Yeah, in 1943, they developed a specific diver's watch for the Naval Combat Demolition Units, the NCDUs.
Ah, the precursors to the Navy SEALs. So
Huh.
really high-stakes stuff.
Right.
Mine clearing.
Wow, exactly. And you can imagine, for that kind of work, you need gear you can absolutely rely on. A watch failing wasn't just an inconvenience.
And that model, the 1943 one, it had that distinctive locking crown, didn't it?
It did. And that wasn't just for looks. It was a serious piece of engineering for the time, all about ensuring water resistance under pressure. Sort of set the stage, you know?
Function driving form right from the start. So fast forward a bit.
Yeah.
When did the civilian Frogman actually appear?
The first civilian model, carrying that Frogman name, came out in 1951. So yeah, the transition from purely military kit happened relatively quickly.
Shows the design had broader appeal, even back then.
Definitely cemented its legacy early on.
Okay, bringing us closer. 2022, Hamilton did a big revamp of the Khaki Navy Frogman line then, right? What was the feel of that update?
Well, the 2022 redesign, it felt more powerful, but also maybe a bit sleeker, more contemporary. It kept the rugged DNA, but, you know, modernized.
Got it. Which leads us right up to now. The 2025 released this black PVD version. What's the thinking behind this one?
It seems like they're aiming for that popular, stealthy, tactical look you get with PVD.
Like physical vapor deposition, right? That durable black coating.
Exactly. But crucially, they seem to want to combine that look with the legibility you get from the standard steel models. Trying to get the best of both, maybe?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So in Hamilton's current lineup, where does the Frogman sit? Alongside things like the Ball Zero.
Yeah, I'd say the Khaki Navy Frogman and the Bella Zero are definitely positioned as their most capable, most powerful dive watch designs. These are tool watches through and through.
And the design language really shouts that, doesn't it? Solid, built for action.
Oh, yeah. It's all about being robust, protected. It's got that very distinctive, almost instrument panel look, and of course that signature crown guard. You see it, you know what it is.
Now, just to be clear, we're mainly focusing on the big one today, the 46mm version. But there is a smaller one too.
Correct. There's also a 41mm version, which is, you know, probably more wearable for a lot of people. But this 46mm, it really leans into that bold Frogman character.
Okay. Now, they did have a black PVD version before, back in 2022. How is this new one different?
Ah, good point. The 2022 PVD model was like full blackout. Black case, black bezel, black dial, even black hands and markers, just some small orange bits.
Which looks cool. Very stealthy, but maybe not ideal for quickly reading the time, especially low light.
That was the potential drawback, yeah. Legibility could have been a concern for some.
So the big change here is the dial then.
Exactly. This new one uses the same dial layout as the classic steel versions. White markers, white hands. It points directly to improving contrast, making it easier to read.
Right. Legibility first for a dive watch.
Yeah.
Let's dig into the specs. They're mostly the same as the 2022 revamp, you said.
That's right. Core specs are consistent, so you've still got that very solid 300-meter water resistance.
Which is plenty for serious diving. And the case itself, it has those distinct features.
Yeah, it's quite angular, very protected. You've got that sort of bumper element over at 9 o'clock. Adds to the rugged look.
And the crown guard at 3.
That big bridge-shaped protector over the screw-down crown. It's probably the most recognizable feature. Really emphasizes security.
And the bezel, still black PVD.
Yep, black PVD bezel to match the case. It has a 60-minute scale, but it's in positive relief the markings are raised.
Ah, easier to grip, maybe with gloves.
Exactly, and there's a lume pip, a white lumed dot at the 0 mark, essential for timing.
Crystal is sapphire with AR coating.
Correct. Sapphire for scratch resistance, which you definitely want on a tool watch like this. And the anti-reflective coating helps cut down glare. Solid screw-down case back too, also PVD steel.
Okay, let's really focus on that dial now. The key difference. You said classic matte grained black. Why that finish?
Well, matte is great because it doesn't reflect light much. So it boosts the contrast with the hands and markers, plus no distracting glare, which is good underwater or just out in the sun.
And the markers and hands nickeled, filled with white Super-LumiNova. That's the big legibility upgrade, right?
That's the crucial part, yes. The white lume on the black dial gives you really strong contrast day or night. Much clearer than the previous all-black setup. The nickel surrounds help them pop, too.
But they kept the orange accents.
They did. Little touches of orange on the minute hand, the seconds hand tip, and some markings down at 6 o'clock. Adds a bit of visual interest, a nod to dive watch tradition without hurting readability.
And still no date window for those who prefer that cleaner look.
Correct. Keeps the focus purely on telling the time. Very tool watch-like.
Right. What about the engine inside? The movement. It's the Hamilton H10, which is their name for the Powermatic 80.
Yeah, the H10 Powermatic 80. It's a well-known, reliable Swiss automatic movement. Beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour.
And the big feature is that power reserve, isn't it?
It is an 80-hour power reserve, which is, really practical. It means you can take it off Friday night, pick it up Monday morning, and it's likely still running.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
And it uses a Nivachron hairspring.
Mm-hmm. And Nivachron is an alloy that's resistant to magnetism, which is increasingly useful with all the electronics around us. Helps maintain accuracy.
And finally, the strap comes on rubber.
Yes, a black rubber strap, and it's vented. Those slots help with comfort, letting skin breathe and water drain. Complements the whole PVD look, too.
Okay, so if someone's interested, is this a limited edition or here to stay?
Good news there. It's part of the permanent collection.
Yeah.
Not a limited run.
And the price point?
Retail is listed at 1,445 euros. So pretty competitive for a Swiss dive watch with these kinds of specs.
All right, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've traced Frogman from its pretty intense military origins with the NCDUs.
That functional necessity driving early design.
Through the 2022 update and landed on this new 2025 black PVD version. The key takeaway seems to be blending that stealth look with much better legibility thanks to the classic dial configuration.
Exactly. It feels like a thoughtful evolution. It keeps the Frogman's tough heritage, but addresses a potential usability point from the previous PVD model, all while keeping that modern, tactical feel. A nice balance of form and function.
So for you listening, thinking about this blend, military roots, civilian use, design evolving for practicality, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other everyday things we use have these kinds of fascinating backstories?
Yeah, and maybe what are those little design choices, the ones we don't always notice, that make something work well and look the way it does? Definitely something to chew on.